I still think we should have an intro. Just for the
Yeah,
record.
we should have an intro. Hey, a podcast.
Hey, loud podcast. I'm your host, Sean the
Stinky
Dude.
Stefan.
Stinky Stefan and Dirty Dilf.
Right in the stinker.
Wow.
Don't you fucking hate that when you get on like a YouTube video? It's like, hey guys, Johnny699955559 here, and I'm here to help you change your toilet paper roll.
Learn to floss.
Find this one thing in an obscure MMO.
You like Easter eggs? I don't have a life. Let's get into it.
Oh my god, I fucking hate that. Or channels that like, hey guys, a bunch of you have been asking me. Whenever somebody says that shit, I just automatically assume absolutely nobody has asked them that. Or one person has asked them that.
Okay, I received one email this week, and it was about this. So this is our content. So Stefan, what'd you do this last whatever day this story happened?
So I've been listening to. I'm about halfway through Iron Maiden's discography.
Oh yeah. Is it pretty rich? Is there a wealth?
I got.
Is this your first time listening to Iron Maiden?
I only own the album Peace of Mind. So it's got like The Trooper and one of my favorite songs, Flight of Icarus. And then I also had spent a bit of time with Somewhere in Time, because it's a great album. It's got Sea of Madness and some of my favorite songs on there.
Jake and I always used to do the Somewhere in Time walk, like Eddie's on the fucking thing. We just like strut like that.
But I was checking this album out since a guy I played games with on Saturday texted me. And he says, Judas, this guy at work told me that Iron Maiden is better than Judas Priest. What an idiot. And I was like, I don't know about that.
They're both kind of in the same vein for me.
Yeah.
I told him I don't have an opinion, but I honestly feel that Iron Maiden, more people are going to side with Iron Maiden. I think majority of people would say Iron Maiden.
I'd say they're a little more popular,
Yeah.
a little more mainstream.
They have the fucking live show. I've seen them once. And
Oh, yeah?
Like 70 rows back, you can feel the heat of the flames.
Oh my god.
And fucking Bruce Dickinson's just standing there with like a fucking like a Mad Conductor's like sport coat with like coattails on it, and he's just like 2 feet away from this shit. And I'm just thinking, man,
You must be on fire.
yeah, it's like that shit has to be so well choreographed. You have to hit your marks, otherwise you get fucking roasted in front of 20,000 people.
Crackle like a pig over an open
But
spit.
the real takeaway from my listening of Iron Maiden this week was Steve Harris, their bassist. That dude is... I don't usually pay attention to bass, but that guy is
You win
amazing.
99% of America.
I know, but that guy is amazing, and he definitely goes in my list of like top bassists of all time. His bass lines.
Who
have
else is
great
on
tone.
that list, Stefan?
There's the three finger.
Jaco Pastorius and
Oh, Jocko's fucking great.
yeah,
Too bad he went crazy and
went looking
know.
for fights and then got in a fight that he definitely wasn't going to win and went into a coma. Died. But Steve Harris he's just amazing. And I guess he writes like 85% of the material. I was also shocked by that. He's got the great
rare.
Yeah, he's got the galloping bass lines, great tone.
Yeah, he's got the three finger, man. The bring, bring, bring.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved every minute of it.
Bring, 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 bring. Dish, 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 dish.
I'm starting to peter out though.
I'm sorry, what was that, Doug?
Dish, 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 dish. Bring, bring, bring,
Oh,
bring. Dish,
yeah,
dish,
now I
dish,
got
dish,
it.
dish.
Oh, yeah, that's that good cut.
I'm starting to peter out though. That I've got to the albums where they have their third vocalist. His name escapes me at this time, but
They had somebody else than Bruce Dickinson.
Mirren.
yeah, between the guy that was on Killers and Bruce Dickinson, there's a third guy, and he's not.
Do you think Bruce Dickinson wrote a bunch of like poems and shit just on napkins all over his house, and they'll find it after his death, like Emily Dickinson?
Definitely.
Apparently, Emily Dickinson like was not even known at the time, and after she died, they just found like a bunch of shit. Like
oh, this stuff's
That's
pretty
like
good.
how a lot of poets and like writers though used to happen, because you couldn't disseminate information that fast way back in the day. So like maybe this guy was a great writer, but like his
probably
five...
didn't really have the hookup. There was no open platform like there
Yeah,
is now.
exactly. So like you could write all these awesome books and your friends would go, wow, this is the dopest shit ever. But then like that's where it stopped. Because
You gotta
paper's
buy yourself a printing press.
Yeah, because paper's fucking expensive in like the 1700s. Like if you weren't like the holy church, you didn't just like have paper and ink laying around.
Right. Straight up, man, if society breaks down and the power grid goes out, there's no more like, tablet stuff, electronic spread of media, printing presses. I'm going to take over the world.
Yeah. Until
I got a bunch of them.
Until the lights come back on.
I heard some sort of, don't quote me on this, but I heard some sort.
I'm so ready to quote you.
Right. I heard some sort of mention that if we got hit by a solar flare and it like knocked out a bunch of like transformers and shit, it would take like a very long time before we would get to the point before we would be able to.
Yeah, we don't have the infrastructure
like
or
years or something.
Yeah,
like
we don't have the ability to just replace millions of like power conductors, transformers, electronics, and between.
I've seen a movie
between
like
EMPs, because like the EMP blast of like nukes is also supposed to be something similar to that, where it's like if a nuke did land, it's gonna wipe out all electronics in a certain area, and like that shit doesn't just come back.
Like if you detonate it in the atmosphere, it creates an electromagnetic pulse.
That'll basically just like fry.
Yeah, we had talked about that. They tried it in Antarctica. They didn't really know what it was gonna do, and like. They were like far away from civilization and they still knocked out a bunch of shit. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, like a couple nukes could wipe out all the like technology on the planet.
Remember in The Simpsons, Nelson had that fucking Nuke the Whales poster?
No.
So Lisa was gonna be his girlfriend or whatever. They had a little thing and she goes over to his house and she's like, Nuke the whales? He's like, I don't know, gotta nuke something.
I wish I had gotten to watch more of The Simpsons.
This is a pretty good show.
Like I only retain so much of that because my dad just had tapes of them that he'd let me watch in my formative years as like, here's a pacifier, kid. Go watch your cartoons for a little bit.
Yeah,
he liked them too, though.
Oh yeah.
Also, like living up north, we had just this fucking giant satellite dish that took like you could actually see like a little locator on your TV while it was rotating. And it took like minutes to go from like the east end of the spectrum to the west end of the spectrum. And there was a channel that if you knew what it was, it like wasn't broadcasted, but there was a channel that they used to beam episodes of The Simpsons. And
right into your brain.
Right.
You just closed your eyes and you were there.
No, they used it to like transfer the episodes of The Simpsons so the channels in like remote places could record them. And they would just be like the episode and then just like a blank space for commercial. And it was all like in this like tidy little package for them to like edit for their night. That would be like the night's broadcast. I had to get up like super early, like 5 o'clock in the morning. And my dad would be like, hey, you want to get up and watch The Simpsons before school or you want to go back to bed? And I'd just be like, oh, Simpsons.
Yeah, I just didn't get to watch The Simpsons that much. It was banned in my house.
Along with everything else?
Yeah, I believe I've told you this, guys, before.
Corn.
It was... I didn't even like get into corn like that. My brother was into corn and Disturbed and all that. But Simpsons was banned. Didn't get to watch like any of that, so I don't get to share in these fond memories as much. Because by the time I got into The Simpsons, it's when it was already going downhill.
Of just being a dirty little pop culture addict.
Yeah.
In the making. I don't know, you turned out well.
I have Futurama, though. I love Futurama.
Oh, yeah. My dad still tells the story. He's like, I remember when they first started advertising it and the cop robot shits a brick. Ah!
I do remember when it first was getting ready to launch. It was all over Fox.
Right? I was like, Daddy, I want to watch this show.
Daddy, please.
That's my father, Sean. Shame on you.
Maybe he's your father, but he's my daddy.
Gross. Oh, I picked this one out for Sean.
Is that me?
No, that's Stefan. But it's for you.
Oh yeah, it is.
That's like the first like soundbite from us that I was like, I gotta get that one. Oh God. God.
Sadly, I did not get to watch like any TV this week.
Yeah, me neither. I did watch some YouTube, but I can't recall what.
I watched some YouTube filth.
I did get me some more engineering disasters. They actually talked about in an episode of that the Big Blue crane collapse. Remember that shit?
I do remember that.
Like that stuff, like it's crazy how that it just goes out of your mind. But like,
No,
there was like a
Milwaukee
major
Stadium.
fucking crane wreck at Miller Park, and like the wreckage of
It
it.
like killed one or two, a couple people,
Yeah,
didn't
it did.
Yeah, I had forgotten about that. Yeah, when they were redoing the roof or whatever.
No, they weren't redoing it. They were still building the stadium.
Oh,
It
yeah,
hadn't even opened yet.
Yeah, they were building. Oh, because it was like the new stadium or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
That just. I'm already got a slight fear of heights, but
Right.
Oh, fuck all that,
yeah,
dude.
I don't even like going up ladders.
I don't mind flying and stuff, but I get a little uneasy, but climbing ladders and then crane operation and stuff like that, God, that stuff's just horrifying for me. And then when you get just to a certain height, you actually just sway. Oh my God.
Fuck that. I never thought
Butthole
of
is
that.
puckered. The sphincter is tight as it gets.
Cutting
in those
cigars with this
situations.
bad boy.
Like straight up just going up like a fucking ladder to one of our mezzanines where we throw boxes for stuff that we need to keep for warranties. And it just stays up there forever. Like I'd feel a little weird like getting up to that. Like just like maybe not going up, but once you have to like go over the ledge to get down, that kind of
no, that's what it is. It's not getting up there that's the
Right.
problem. It's getting down that's the problem.
Looking down.
Because I used to do like something similar. Only we did it, the OSHA approved way of lifting somebody on a forklift.
Right. That
up.
doesn't bother me.
Well, it does when you like have to climb over this railing onto a pallet sitting
you're strapped
on a
in,
forklift. Oh no, hell no.
What? OSHA. Okay, we did it the OSHA way, and then we immediately broke the OSHA rules.
Well, that was the joke because you're not
Right.
supposed to do any of those things.
Yep.
Like lift people up in forklifts. Like that's fucking rule number one. Like don't do that shit.
Well, they do there are baskets that you chain to the forklift, and then you strap yourself into the basket. and you
Oh
can
no,
go
we
up
threw like a
those.
pallet on a forklift. And, like,
Yeah.
that was our lifting mechanism because we didn't have any scissor lifts or any actual lifting stuff. Yeah. You want me to turn on the TV?
It's on. It needs to go to a different channel or something here.
Oh, really?
So when you guys look up though, you never get dizzy because that's happened to me a couple times where I get like the height effect when I look down.
you got
when
some
I look
vertigo?
Up. Well, not vertigo. It's the same thing when I look down from an extreme height. I've had a couple
That's what
times where I
vertigo
look
is.
up.
My dad actually has vertigo. Like, apparently it's from some of like your inner ear, like
Yeah, it
breaking
just-
off, and it like
yeah.
floats around in the liquid that like tells
Oh,
you
yeah.
which way is up.
It's
Whoa.
the same like fear, just of things just being abnormally tall. Is how I
Like last time we went to a ball
don't
game,
know if it was vertigo.
we were going up one of the escalators, and I was just like, it was kind of bothering me, and I was like, hey dude, like, how's your vertigo? Or he's like, yeah, it's kind of bothering me. I was like, just close your eyes and I'll tell you when like we're at the bottom or we're at the top.
Oh
like, give
yeah,
you a
with,
little
yeah,
tap.
with that giant.
Yeah, if you
escalator
can't
they
see
have
it, doesn't
going
fuck with you.
Yeah.
Or like certain patterns on the ground. We have some like checkered tape to designate like areas where personnel who are not part of the plant can walk.
Okay.
And like he told me, and like I could see it. You know, you like catch like a pattern, like a slanted pattern or a checkered pattern. It kind of looks weird in like
Oh,
your
yeah.
eyes. Like that apparently like almost gives him the sensation of like falling.
I mean, like, does he get it bad enough where he's like puking and like having bad days?
Oh,
where
he
can't really
did when he
function?
first got it. Yeah, it was like
okay.
slumped over.
I haven't had anything that bad. What happened to me was, well, I've had it happen twice. One was we were at the base of like a skyscraper and I looked up. Oh man, that just like messed with me.
That's actually kind of.
And then it was weird. We were at the Milwaukee Public Museum. I was like, we were on a school field trip at the time. I must have been in middle school, and they used to have the deep sea dinosaur. I forgot the technical name for it. They used to hang it over the vaulted ceiling in the main entrance. Looked up at that. Oh man, I almost fell over. It's just like that's so tall.
He's so big.
It's so big.
He
This-
could eat me.
It's like the spatial differential in size.
Oh,
It's
so,
just too
so
much
like
for
you'd
me.
be worthless around a whale. You'd see it and you'd just break.
Possibly. I'd like to think I'm not, but it's very possible that.
Stuffin's
Whale?
hard, but he's fragile.
Whales can fucking like kill you with their like echolocation blast that they do. They're fucking like sonics.
Just rip. I just imagine it ripping you to shreds, but I imagine it just turns your insides to mush.
No, it like literally can like knock you unconscious or whatever if they like blast you in front of it.
Yeah, probably blow your eardrums too. You're
Apparently,
underwater.
whales like don't really care about humans. They're like inquisitive, but you actually have to like put yourself at risk and like go out and scuba dive because like the whir of like submarine engines and shit like that just freak them out. And they don't deal well with it.
Especially how like noise sensitive they are, because
Right.
like, they communicate over huge distances, so they probably have very like sensitive ears, or however they.
Well, maybe they
hearing
communicate on
apparatus works.
such a low level that they don't hear you.
Well, it's also the fact that they're in water and sound transmits like it's like something that's actually touching you.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Well, air is kind of like water in a way.
But just really, really thin water.
Yeah, really thin water. These are my gills. I'm a fish man. Why can't I have a deaf girl fall in love with me?
Oh, that'd be awesome.
That what's
Actually,
the movie called? What was the movie called?
Shape of Water.
Shape of Water. I was explaining the premise of that movie to the
Something
GF.
that will never reach the air.
Yeah, to the GF. No, there was a Not the Onion article from a man who said this movie would be less interesting if it was about having sex with a dolphin. Said man who had sex with dolphins.
Apparently, dolphins are horny little fuckers. Like,
dolphins, one of the only other species who commit rape.
I do remember that fact.
yeah, I
from-
do.
Was that a QI? Are we gonna get
They're
a
also
fact
one-
validation on that?
They're also one of the only species that gets high for fun.
Right, they like go to these puffer fish.
Yep,
and-
they find like I don't think they're fugu fish. That's from a Simpsons episode.
Right.
But there's essentially a puffer fish with a neurotoxin, and they'll like kill it, break it open, and take small bites
toss
to
it around. Puff, puff, pass, boy.
Exactly. And like so none of them overdose or like just go nuts on this. They'll like do it together, like a bunch of stoner dolphins. Like, let's go get faded behind the school. Only it's like a school of fish.
I remember this thing about a woman who was researching dolphins, and she had one in captivity that she was like very close with.
Trying to breed with.
Well, it like tried to breed with her because like it started to see her as its like attachment, as its like mate, and like eventually it got defunded, and she had to like go away, and the dolphin just got like really depressed, and I think it died.
Oh wow.
I'm lonely and sad. Now I die. That happens to some animals.
Stefan.
I'm a bad man.
I'm alone.
I'm so lonely.
So lonely for feeling.
That's a cool space background, man. Or not space, just a
You want to know where I get all my hot art from? Imaginary landscapes.
I was just gonna say, Stefan's a big fan of backgrounds. He likes the big landscape
Me too.
backgrounds.
I had that. I used to have that like.
And I do the cyberpunk one too.
Yeah, I use a lot of
Cyberpunk
those for
science
media in
fiction.
the backdrop of my D&D campaigns. Actually, they're like really good mood setters. You like throw those up on the TV, maybe play a song or two.
Just some yes covers.
Yeah, I actually play Gwen Stefani music videos on silent in the background to get my party in the mood.
I was just talking about this week how Gwen Stefani's the new Miss Brady.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah, she's a babe.
Oh yeah, Mrs. Robinson.
Some guy was
please.
talking shit about her. I was playing Rainbow Six, and I was like,
How dare
Stefani
he?
doesn't age. And she's like, that chick's ugly. And I was like, you are so wrong.
Gwen Stefani.
We were singing No Doubt
Like they
to
say,
each other.
Paul Rudd don't crack. Paul Rudd don't crack.
Paul Rudd don't cry.
Yeah, we were sitting there singing No Doubt to each other, and I was like, man, Gwen Stefani, that chick just like does not age. He's like, she's
Just
ugly.
imagine
I was
some
like, you're
grown
wrong.
men playing Rainbow Six going, hey baby, hey baby, hey.
Yeah, I bet it was a lot like that actually.
Yeah, basically.
Was that us who talked about that already? About Paul Rudd freakily never aging? Because I had that
Yeah,
conversation.
I was. We have talked about it
Okay, because-
previously, but we can talk about it again because
No,
we
I'm not-
love
I'm
Paul.
not-
I love Paul Rudd.
Yeah, Paul Rudd's the shit.
I mean,
Paul Rudd
last-
intrigues me.
On the very last one,
He's
we
an
were just
interesting
talking
specimen.
about.
We must
I would
find him
study
and
him.
squeeze him for his
Juices.
samples so we can find out the secret.
His secretions, if you will.
Because we've even talked about him always bringing the same segment on Conan.
Yeah, I remember the Marley
Absolutely
and Me,
hilarious.
segment last week. No, Marley and Me's that book about that dog with cancer. What was the what? What was?
No, that's the Owen Wilson. Wow.
I saw a really good Owen Wilson gif. It was like a chick, like straight up deadlifting, and it was, instead of weights, it was Owen Wilson's head like superimposed on each one, and it was like, wow.
Every time you did a
Wow.
Oh, that's great.
Wow.
I saw his tweet in response to all the hype he's been getting about this, and it is, I've only said wow a couple times, to be honest.
Supercuz survey says differently.
Yeah,
Watch this supercut.
He seems very self-conscious about it. I've seen it on the Owen Wilson Energy YouTube mashups where they have him in the interviews and just tries to avoid the whole subject. Just accept it, man. Accept it for what it is. Embrace it. We love it.
Yeah, I mean, no one's doing this and going, wow, Owen Wilson's a fucking idiot. They're saying, wow, Owen Wilson's a
Everybody
wow.
has that though.
I know.
Like, I'm sure is like listening back to myself. I'm just
Yeah,
like,
you
say
pick 'em
that
out.
bunch. You pick them out, and then
People have methods of speech.
like a guy at work always says, "That's the problem," or the
I
problem.
got-
The problem is, and another guy says, "That's the issue."
Yeah, I Matthew McConaughey a lot. I all right a lot of people. Like, I'm a big fan of the.
So I'm
all right.
almost like, all right, and then if you get someone who's savvy, they'll catch you and be like, all right.
At my job, I got a guy who says, here's the thing. I also have a guy who's, majority of the time, he brings up
Stefan Weber.
the thing he brings up. It would just be too easy, wouldn't it?
Oh, dear.
In response to every issue, it would just be too easy if we did it that way, wouldn't it?
Did your background just change in the last 35 seconds?
My background changes every 30 seconds.
I can identify with that. I had a conversation with a guy in shipping, and we were just going over this situation where something got mailed someplace in mistake, and we had a solution to it. And he was like, why don't you go try that out? I was like, they're not going to go for it. And he's be like, why? And then I just looked at him. He was like, because that would be too easy, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It's so true, though. When you work with certain companies, they want things done just like a certain way. And even if it makes no fucking sense, mama gets what mama wants, man. You paying the bills.
Yep. We working for the government was a lot of that. A lot of we want you to sign a document 3 times before you do a single screw. And we don't care that it takes you literally an inordinate amount of time to
but
do
they do
anything. But then we'll still wonder why everything's over budget. But you know, that's just the glories of working. If it was
It's
fun
like
to
the
be there, we
fucking
wouldn't pay you.
the Vorgons or whatever from
From fucking Hitchhiker's Guide.
yeah.
Yep, everything's signed in triplicate. They are literally
Buried in peat, left for 3 months,
poetry.
redug up.
Yeah, they are literally a parody of our own government.
Right.
It's great. We have to build a highway through here. I'm sorry that there's a planet in the way, but I have a document
Eminent
that says
domain.
I have to build
They're
it.
actually
or-
I got an interesting thing on that because Douglas Adams wrote that back in an area where that was actually reflective of British culture. And I was just listening to a talk about it was a Google Talk thing, I don't know what they're called, with John Cleese on it, and he was doing the rounds for his
podcast knockoffs, basically.
Yeah, but it's like a live audience too, like where
okay.
people can come in and like talk or ask questions, kind of like a Kevin Smith thing. And
Cool.
he has this book that he's promoting, and he was talking about like coming over here and being like impressed with our efficiency at the time in the 60s.
At the time.
Yeah, he was.
That was a while ago.
He was
Well,
talking
30
of
years, yeah.
it, like in perspective of how it is now, where we're so divided as far as partisans. But back then, he was talking about how Democrats and Republicans had like friendships across the ties, and it was more efficient then. But then, you also have to look at the '60s being kind of like. It had its own barbaric ways,
Oh, I mean, definitely. I mean, it's really easy to romanticize the past.
But that was quoting him.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, quoting him in the moment. But I'm saying, as far as like us talking about the '60s and saying like that moment, like
I've
yeah,
never done that really.
Oh, everyone's guilty of some form of nostalgia.
Right, nostalgia that you never had.
Yeah, it's like you don't really technically have a frame of reference. A lot of
No,
people
but
do
like
that.
you do see a lot of people who definitely romanticize the fuck out of it, and it's very much like, well, you don't see the griminess not having lived in it yourself. There were definitely parts. There, they were still poor people.
But still,
That's why I'm surprised.
Murders, there were still
Midnight in Paris. I'm surprised that wasn't a bigger part of that movie.
It is though. It's like kind of the whole crux of like the end of it of why he doesn't stay there because the girl he's.
I have a confession. I didn't get to the end. I got 75% of the way through. And
no, that's totally the ending because the girl he falls for in the past, she romanticizes a previous time that she looks at as the golden age, and so she tries to get him to go even farther back. He's like, no, this is the perfect time in history in Paris. She's like, no, we have to go to in the Netherlands like 120 years ago, and it's the best shit ever. Like she wants to go to the Baroque period.
Oh yeah,
and he's just like, no, you're an idiot. And then he gets home, he's like, I'm an idiot.
They should make a sequel to that concept where they just keep on going further and further until they're like single cell organisms.
Yeah, so first you'll have Midnight in Paris, then Midday in Tunisia, and then you'll have 2:30 Crumpets in London, and then that one will go back to like the Byzantine era.
You're just a fucking zygote in a puddle of primordial ooze.
Yeah, and you're like, wow, we are the proto hipsters because we are proto existence.
Then suddenly it's
primordial ooze. That's what everyone's dad's done on a couch.
Suddenly, really quickly,
babies.
it goes ancient Rome, ancient Greece, ancient Egypt, and then it goes ancient Babylon, and then next thing you know, you're in a camp.
Wait, did Egypt come before Babylon? I suppose, yeah.
Egypt was a little after Babylon. That's why I said ancient Rome, ancient Greece, Egypt,
Oh,
Babylon.
You're going backwards, not forwards. I get it. Okay.
Although, it would be really cool to see the Babylonian gardens.
Oh my god. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. There's a lot of ancient shit to be cool.
I feel like it might be like a little lackluster though. Just like you think it would be super huge and it's actually like kind of small.
Yeah, and then it's like, well, the botanical gardens are bigger than this. Like, we have the domes, and that might be cooler.
I've actually never been in the domes.
Oh, they're pretty dope, actually.
You never had to go there for a field trip or anything?
No. Well, I don't know. Here,
you don't
when
go
I
on
moved
dates
here,
much.
When I was, go to the domes.
Dude, bitches love that shit. I'm telling you, it slays.
Yeah, bitches love being called bitches too.
Well,
I haven't had any
You say what you want to
complaints.
say there, because I got something to talk about the domes.
Yeah, sorry, go for it.
No. Go on, expound on it.
I went to the domes with the GF for a bat. It was like a bat conservation group. So they had brought in like bats, which at the time I thought we were gonna be flying to the domes, but then when we got there, I realized how fucking dumb that would be because they'd never be able to find them all, and people would be screaming and stuff. Yeah. But they had brought a number of bats, so we got to walk through the domes with guided tours, and they explained how all the plants in the domes have a relationship to bats, like tequila, agave. If there's no bats, there's no more tequila.
Guano.
Because bats are the only thing that pollinate the agave that's needed for tequila.
So you know what we should do is promote it in like spring break culture. Like for every shot we sell of tequila, we donate 50 cents to the bats.
I'd be game with that. And then we moved
Marketing
into,
strategy.
because they have one dome that's not really for an ecosystem. It's more for presentations.
For housing the Baldwin brother and Pauly Shore.
Yeah,
Just
that's
hang
actually
out
where
in
they
there.
shot the movie. Pauly Shore still lives there.
And then
He
they
has
had
a timeshare.
They had like an informative session. They brought out a number of bats who couldn't be returned to the wild with damaged wings or whatever not, and it was a good date, man. They have activities at the domes.
Yeah, the older couples,
they're
you still need to go out sometimes. Keep it alive. Keep the romance alive.
Yeah, keep it
Well,
alive.
we can't all just sit in our underwear and our stink and stare at a wall.
Pull an Eric Foreman.
Hey
on
man,
his day
someone's
off.
got to edit this shit.
This hot
Someone's
garbage.
got to make you sound like you're not a racist.
To take a wiser man than you, Doug.
Nice red cap you got there, Sean.
Thanks. I'm thinking about joining a gang. Am I saying that right? Gong?
Let's take a break.
We'll be right back after this word from our sponsors. Preparation H, because your butthole loves you.
This guy's just, it's gonna
Because
be
you
buttholes
did
every
eat
time.
ass, America.
Do you eat? Do you eat ass, America?
Well, you
'Cause
fucking should.
Sorry, man. You can tell where my head's at.
me get off of Iron Maiden.
Right. Yeah.
Something without lyrics.
Yeah.
Okay, it's rolling. All right. Suggestion box.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second installment of our suggestion box, where Doug gets belligerently drunk, writes things on pieces of paper, and puts them in a box where he then later rediscovers that he's kind of an idiot.
Hey, man. You gotta fucking have some bad ones to have some good ones.
Hey, that's what I'm saying. You should have some good ones by now.
My first one that I came up with was Wowdy Wadney Wowdy Wadney Wifey or Waifu. So it's a play on Rowdy Rodney Piper.
Yeah, I totally thought you were going to go Wowdy Wadney Wiper. So Rowdy Rodney's waifu? Is that trying to do? Wowdy Wadney's
Wifey or waifu?
Waifu?
Sorry, all I'm hearing is the fucking guy who used to fucking host Penn and Teller's Fool Me, who couldn't pronounce his R. His Oz.
His Oz?
How about Waz? I had a guy in Frasier that did that.
There's a guy, and sorry if you have a speech impediment, but there's a guy.
They're funny.
There was a guy with YouTube content that it was like really good, like space, like educational content, and it was like really deep, but he was narrating it and he had like the WR thing. And just like, hello. I should give him another like chance because it's really good content, and I should just like get over it.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like brave of him to like put himself out there and actually narrate when he
That's
has
the thing,
that.
though. You got to own your shit with that, because like me and Steph were talking earlier about just the digs. Oh no, we all just did about the Owen Wilson shit. You just got to own it. Like I had a really bad stutter as a kid. I mean, I still kind of get tripped up sometimes just when I get super excited.
When he gets amped, yeah, you can hear it a little bit.
But yeah, I used to have a real bad stutter as a kid. And it makes you self-conscious, but at a certain point, you kind of just kind of go, well, this is how I talk now. Fucking great.
Stefan, for this one, could you call up a picture of Joe Walsh? Do you guys know who Joe Walsh is?
No idea. I never heard of her.
Yeah.
Joe Walsh is the guy who wrote that song, Life's Been Good.
Yeah,
Like,
life's been good so far.
my mind's alright, he does 185.
Oh.
I lost my license. Okay, so here's my my idea box. Joel Walsh equals Bill Maher with a guitar, in looks only.
In looks only.
He looks like
Yeah, Bill Maher.
he looks like hippie Bill Maher.
I could see it. I could see it. I mean,
Except he's probably not a douchebag.
Yeah, it's very similar. I think Joe Walsh has a little bigger nose, but yeah,
I mean,
it's there. I
more
can
of
see
an
it.
observation, less of a suggestion, but I like it. I like it.
Young Joe Walsh.
I swear to God,
I don't have really much to do with that.
there's a guy at work who looks like fucking George Thorogood.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You always ask him how the
Hey,
destroyers are doing.
watch this though. Let's throw a young Steve Martin in here too.
What's the he has his link is the nose, but his face has something like different about it. How many more steps to Kevin Bacon? Let's see if we can
Lord.
let's see if we can get there.
This is all gonna get cut.
Yeah.
As the visual.
No.
doesn't
We're gonna
play
keep
so
going. Like Steph, we'll keep trying to get to Kevin Bacon.
So Joe Walsh to Bill Maher to possibly Steve Martin.
So
Ooh, Kevin Bacon. This is gonna be deep. I gotta go so many levels with
Gotta
this.
add
no,
some-
you have to do it in less than 6.
You gotta do it in.
We're going with young people, so I'm gonna use the Tremors picture because everybody loves Tremors.
Okay, to reverse back to in another step, maybe you will find one with like Gary Oldman going from Kevin Bacon.
Deep.
It's the
I'm
glasses.
surprised there isn't a website where it's just like
There
find
is.
people that look like this and just get me to this.
Play the game for me.
Okay, I had a idea for an advertisement for Rocat, the peripheral, the computer game peripheral manufacturer.
Yeah, they own a bunch of e-gaming teams.
Yeah, like their fucking equipment's kind of trash though. Like
all their teams are trash.
I bought a fucking mouse and dropped it on the ground once and broke. Like, it was a really nice, like, one of those MMO mouses with all the buttons on it. But you could pull the buttons out and, like, replace them with bigger buttons that didn't push the other ones, so you could, like, customize it. It was, like, a really nice thing. I was like, that's a good concept. I'll buy it. Fucking broke immediately. Thanks, Rocat. But, here's the idea on the card.
So here's an advertising for them.
Pew, 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 pew. Zit, some sort of guy, like, playing video games. Whip pen. Wow! Like, large cat soundbite. Rocat.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, here's a video game idea. Michael Flatley's Run and Gun.
Oh my God! You'd have to hold your gun steady while
hip
dancing.
Hip fire only.
While dancing the world's most difficult jig. It'd be a combination of DDR and fucking Call of Duty. You'd have the fucking
that
things
is
going down
inspired
the
right
side.
there.
Dun, 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 dun. Or oh my God, I could just see this going so many places. It'd be like one of those arcade adventures where it's like you have to shoot the guys with the gun, but you're also playing DDR.
Or you get like to a certain level of like kills, and then you get to like bring in your dance line, and they're all just like
that's your combo. Dude, everybody's got an M16.
And you have to shoot with the music or while everybody's tap dancing.
Like, you shoot your guns in there like 6 shooters?
No, you can't shoot them in there because you have to keep your...
Well, you shoot...
You have to dance very irishly. Yeah. Like, shoot at your own feet to dance.
Oh, what if it automatically shoots, and if you don't dance right, you shoot your own foot off?
Or you're shooting at each other to make each other dance.
Irish dance stick duels. Be like a head-to-head, dude. It'd be like an online fighting game. Only you'd be Irish dancing with guns.
Golf with baseball bats. There'd be
Cricket.
no control. There'd be no control.
It's called cricket.
But cricket has a flat bat. A baseball bat is rounded.
Well, yeah.
You just have no control.
I mean, you have a flat head, but I don't say any shit about it.
I have a flat head.
You got another one, Steph?
I got Stephen Hawkins as Jim Hawkins in a Treasure Island reshoot.
It wouldn't. I don't think that would land nowadays with the whole dead thing.
I know, it was too soon.
Oh, speaking of deaths, guess who died?
Me.
Keyboard Cat.
Oh no.
Yeah, I know. Oh, I got an advertisement for One Wheel.
Doug's favorite thing after he slipped on the banana peel.
Oh my God.
I love that thing though. Have you ever wanted to snowboard uphill to the liquor store? We have the technology.
You gotta add an in the summer, and then I have no other changes.
Right.
You ever want to snowboard in the summer? Uphill to the liquor store?
Both ways.
Both ways.
One wheel.
One wheel. One product.
One wheel to
one
rule them
wheel.
all.
One, and in the darkness bind them.
All right. Here's a movie idea.
Oh, I got one of those too.
Mine is.
Oh wait! Can we have a head-to-head, and whoever movie idea is better gets made?
All right.
I think
Who wants to go first?
Yeah, I'll be the judge. That's fair. I don't have any
I'll
ideas of my
start.
own, so I'll take credit.
a modern spin on Spinal Tap with YouTubers and streamers.
That's not terrible, except for the fact that you'd have to sit through a movie filled with YouTubers and streamers and their shitty personalities.
Well, they'd be
Oh,
all
right.
they wouldn't all be real.
they'd be actors parodying them.
Yeah, because that's how Spinal Tap is. None of those guys are.
And thaw out Michael McKean to like rephrase it. Wonder how much he'd cost now that he's Better Call Saul famous.
Yeah.
I like that.
I know, that was a solid
that.
idea. I really like the meta, like real world fucking reboots, because all we're allowed to do is reboots anymore. All right, Dougie, what do you got for us?
Crocodile Dundee, except with in an Upper Peninsula Yooper setting.
He wants to take.
You really want to make a show in Canada?
Yeah,
That's what I'm
because that's
getting
what it
from
was
it.
last time.
No, like,
Yeah.
well,
Guy
it's
from
like
Maine gets stuck.
That was
so funny. Guy from Maine moves 50 miles north to Canada.
that was the liberal lumberjacks. Like,
Yeah.
that was supposed to be like Land of the Lost, like going through time and space, but he actually just like winds up in like having his like values flipped
You
on
just
him or
have
whatever.
a real soft spot for fish out of water 80s tropes.
I do.
Like Harry and the Hendersons.
But like I was trying to think of like
That's
a character archetype that would be like the Crocodile Dundee equivalent of the Great North Woods, essentially.
You'd be like a doomsday prepper. Just like some fucking hick-ass moonshiner who's just like fucking big old grizzly beard, like huffs gasoline in his spare time and shit. Like, what's that, Meet the Whites or whatever? Have you ever seen that? That's just like, it's like some crazy Appalachian Trail hick family. They're all just inbred and crazy.
Are you talking about the guys from Alaska?
I thought they were in like
they like
Kentucky
live in a 2x4
something.
shack. Oh, that's something else. Because they had that whole, these are weird real life, extreme rednecks.
Yeah, extreme rednecks. That was literally a reality show thing for a while.
Yeah.
Like everything from Duck Dynasty to like swamp people.
Yeah, because the one I had watched was an Alaskan family, and I remember one of the episodes was,
oh, when it comes, I want a whale. No!
So Doug's gonna go pick up his Amazon package now.
But one of the Alaskan shows.
I'm sorry. I just want to see if this plays out like a porno where Doug buzzes this guy in and he's like, "I have a package for Doug Dobert."
But the Alaskan show, I remember one of the episodes I watched was the 3 boys they had getting hooked up with a dating service, and they were all like just so disconnected from reality because they live a completely different life, and all the girls they met were just like, okay, that seems nice, you're freaky, and I don't want to get leather-faced.
I'm scared, but there's a camera crews here.
Yeah.
So if I get murdered, at least they'll have evidence.
Like one dude was a total neckbeard. He just like was into trench coats and swords and stuff. Like even though he was so disconnected.
Yeah, showed up with his mall ninja shit.
Yeah.
And was like ready to go.
It's like, I can protect us in the wild.
I don't think Doritos fucking come from a plant.
The only exposure I ever got to those kind of shows was when the place was getting renovated after the fire of staying at a hotel.
Oh, and
that's all they
cable.
fucking had on. It was like 20 channels of just shit. That was like my first exposure. Like, what happened to the Discovery Channel?
Yeah, that.
It's like now it's just fucking
dropped
hillbillies
Mythbusters.
making a bunch of moonshine, and that man's name is Tickle.
Yeah, fucking hillbilly, like fucking
and
hillbilly
Pawn Stars.
reality and Pawn Stars.
I got a guy
I
for
don't
that.
mind. I don't mind Pawn Stars though. It's like short and digestible, and there's actually like cool history around like an item and stuff.
It's all staged.
Yeah. Well, obviously. Yeah.
Oh, cool meme, bro.
No, dude,
I got a guy
wrestling's
that
real, too.
Specializes in memes.
Speaking of which, are we gonna go to the WWE next time they come around?
I'd love to, because I love wrestling.
Yeah. Wasn't Monday Night Raw just here?
Yeah, we flubbed it, but we should do better
I love
next
wrestling.
time. Because like if nothing else, it'd be fun to just be at that.
Although all my favorite wrestlers aren't really in.
They're all actors now.
Well, Rey Mysterio went to Lucha Underground, which is like wrestling turned up to 11.
Yeah.
The show is so fucking badass.
It's like wrestling's roots.
Yeah, basically.
I remember they had a fucking like taco fest at whatever docks are like right outside of Bayview, kind of by Kinnickinnick, where all like the boats are and shit. And it was just
That's
like
just the Port of Milwaukee.
it was just a bunch of places for it was like where people park their yachts.
Oh, the marina.
Yeah. So there's like a little bar there that was like packed, and then they had
Tell
like
me
this
The Rock
little.
showed up.
No, like they advertised like fucking having luchadors, but it was like so fucking lame. It was literally like 50 people and 6 vendors.
No
And it was
luchadors,
like
though?
try the tacos. You got to buy Chuck E. Cheese tickets to redeem them for tacos, and then
That always gets me. I already have a form of tradable value. Don't make me exchange my valuable everywhere for valuable fucking nowhere but here. Don't do that to me. We already have money. Let's just cut out the fucking bullshit.
right.
Tell that to fucking video games that have
Jesus
multiple
Christ, the
currencies.
fucking retarded amount of currencies you get in some game. Here's your skin, your cosmetic money. Here's your fucking character money. Here's your, minor addition money.
You know what really pissed me off in that same vein?
What?
They fixed it since, but they still kind of do it. Nintendo has like Nintendo points or some sort of
I've
thing.
heard bitching about
where
that.
you used to have to buy it in just the blocks that they were offering, so you'd have to like spend more.
Yep.
Than
Yeah.
which was nice
basically
in the
a
fact
discount.
you'd
That's all
basically
you get.
like
The worst about
eventually
those-
have enough for like a game for
But the
the
worst
money that
part about
was
those
like
systems
the remainder.
is you always have like a small amount of cash that you'll never be able
Yeah.
to like get rid of. I hate that
They
shit.
do that on
But
purpose,
they've since
yeah.
fixed it, so when you purchase something, you can just pay for the exact amount instead.
That's good.
Yeah, like they're really killing it with the Switch.
I want to go back to wrestling. You guys really want to go see like WWE? Because I do.
Oh, yeah, I'd love to. I'm not crazy about it, but I'm so into new experiences that like
I just think it's fun.
Yeah,
I don't like
exactly.
follow along really.
Well, yeah, I know, like we're all too busy to sit down and watch wrestling weekly, and God.
I know what you mean.
Mankind isn't in it
Today
anymore,
is 3/16, ladies and gentlemen. I forgot to fucking have a little like fun with our resident wrestling fan at work, because he used to be super into wrestling at that time when he was like just coming to power. The rise and fall. Dude, nobody beats the fucking Macho Man, Randy Savage, man.
I got you for 3 minutes.
Dude, Hogan,
3 minutes of playtime.
Hogan was a fucking hero.
You think his intros royalty free?
Who was
I forgot he did his own rap album.
Yeah, he did. He had this fucking intro for a song. I know it by heart. It's like,
I'm the tower of power, too sweet to be sour, funky like a monkey.
Yeah.
Ooh,
I forgot. He had
yeah.
Be a Man and My Perfect Friend. I remember those were on my. I got it up here right now.
I was gonna say
This one's for the
I
kids.
played that shit. Yeah, I played that shit at work.
Yeah. It's like, of course you know. Don't act like you're just learning this now.
I couldn't remember the name of the tracks. I forgot that he had it though. Yeah, it used to be on my.
it is like 90s boogie bang as fuck. There's like, everybody say ho! Ho!
Yeah, I got a bunch.
Macho Man, dig it.
Like, that's in the fucking song.
And I remember I sent you Sexy Boy, Shawn Michaels intro, and he played it on his big speaker. The intro is just girls just
yeah, we'd like play. We work on second shift, and there'd be like engineers leaving, and you just hear Shawn Michaels' intro song just bumping out of the back of this electrical cabinet.
You think I'm cute? They know I'm sexy.
Oh my God, we were wilding out.
I bet none of this is royalty free. That's too bad. Who cares?
So
Get ready to buzz it.
Royalty free.
So if Chief Wahoo, which is kind of racist, we're agreed on that.
Yeah,
like,
he's racist.
yeah.
Looking back on it, is Tatanka kind of?
Who's Tatanka?
He was like an Indian wrestler.
Oh yeah,
And he was just like in the full Indian garb.
Oh yeah.
But here's the thing: if you get an Indian to do it, no one can call him racist because he's making fun of his own culture.
There's a ton of wrestlers where it's just like, let's make the most stereotypical thing.
Like
ever.
Yokozuna. I can't think of
Iron
anything
Sheik.
more than Yokozuna.
The Iron Sheik. Oh, we'll just take an Arab and make him evil.
Yeah, Yokozuna. Here we go. Here's the picture.
That is a big boy.
Yeah, he's probably a sumo wrestler.
I'm a sumo.
Sumo.
Yeah, Iron Sheik.
Look at those big old titties.
That's a big boy. Damn, that is a big boy, though.
Right. We're talking about leverage here.
Talking about staying power.
Yokozuna and Andre never fought?
Weren't they kind of different eras? Like, Yokozuna was the 90s, Andre was the 70s.
80s. Yeah,
Really?
70s and 80s.
I wasn't sure when Yokozuna was in the mix.
Apparently the sheer amount that man could drink was
30
just
beers,
astounding.
easy. And not even be
Astounding.
that drunk.
They fit in the palm of his hand.
Stefan,
Yeah.
look up the snooker player who could like drink a bunch of like alcohol.
All to do that would drink up. Okay.
He apparently started drinking because he had some sort of heart condition, and his doctor recommended it for like a remedy. And he would like easily just like put away like a ridiculous amount, something like 100 beers or something like that, and still be able to stand. And then like he would drink like that.
Here he
ridiculous
is, Bill Werbnick.
He would
remember this guy.
He would drink that
yeah.
ridiculous amount of beers during a snooker match, and then afterwards he was known to say it was like oh, well, what are you gonna do now? Instead of like going to Disney World, he was like, I'm going out for a proper drink.
Yeah. Some of I'm butchering this guy's name. Werbnick's most famous feats include drinking 76 cans of lager during a game with John Spencer in Australia in the 1970s. 43 pints of lager in a snooker match/drinking contest with Scotsman Eddie Sinclair, in which after Sinclair had passed out following his 42nd pint, Werbnick was reported to say, I'm away to the bar now for a proper drink. That's the exact story you were talking about.
When I saw
Split trouser incident.
I saw Carrie Elwes actually. Just to go back to Andre and the same. I'm like waiting for the sample.
That's a bad mess.
There you go.
I saw Carrie Elwes give like a little Q&A after like a screening of The Princess Bride.
About the book they put out.
Yeah, and
they
he
wrote about
was
it.
talking about Andre, and this is like recently after Dude had passed, and he was talking about this one time at this hotel when basically after drinking something like 90 something beers, he basically passed out in this hotel lobby. And after 4 people couldn't move, this like
They were heaving in homes like,
Yeah.
quick, flip him over. That's how Hendrix died.
they basically tried to move him up to his room, but after 4 grown men couldn't move this like
left him.
400 something pounds of dead weight, they just like rolled him over towards a couch and like let him sleep it off. Because like I think they even asked Carrie to help or something, and he was just like, "No, I know better."
Yeah, they have a bunch of fun stories from that.
Oh yeah,
The
dude, it sounds
shooting.
like they just had a blast. Like a bunch of the people were like nobodies and stuff at the time, so it was just like a whole cast of just kind of silliness and stuff. Except for the director, who was some big shit. I'm trying to remember who the director was.
Who is pre-Vince?
I do remember the inconceivable guy was semi-big, and he just did not understand like his
Yeah.
role. He was just like, I don't get it. It's not.
Well, yeah, and like, and to this day, yeah, people like come up to him and like know him for that and say like inconceivable, and he just looks at him like, I don't like this.
Right.
I don't like this. I never got it.
Like John Cleese was talking about, somebody asked him, he's like, do you ever get sick of people coming up to you and doing the Ministry of Funny Walks thing? And he's like, yes. Somebody asked him, he's like, how did you write that? And he's like, I didn't. Somebody else wrote it. And I thought we were all good sports at the time, and they asked me if I would do it, so I did, and it landed on the show. So then when they got popular and they were doing their live shows, first night of a show at some place that they're playing, he comes out doing the Ministry of Funny Walks thing to just silence. And then he walks off the stage and he's like, you see, it wasn't funny. I'm never doing that fucking again. And then they say, oh boy, just give it one more night. And then he does it again the next night.
Yeah.
Fucking uproar. And he's like, fuck.
That's a good story. I like that.
Did you guys
John
ever?
Cleese is a
Did you
funny
guys get
dude.
into like Faulty Towers and stuff?
You tried to get me in a couple times, but
that?
some of that more older British comedy just really messes with me.
I just love British comedy.
Yeah, that's the thing. You either love it or you hate it.
I like a lot of the more modern stuff, but some of that like that deep cuts, like 70s British humor, I'm just like, I can't even do American 70s humor. Just stop.
Well, the only kind of like thing that they had to compete with the satire. Well, actually, I shouldn't say satire because one of the things that Monty Python did was not satire. They didn't do stuff that depended on like the context of the time.
Yeah, or current events. It was just silliness.
But sometimes they'd have satire jokes and they'd just like have it come up on the screen, flashing satire.
Oh
satire.
yeah, dude, I remember that bit. Yeah, I mean they dealt a lot in absurdities. It was that like, this is so bonkers.
Apparently it was one of their philosophies was they would just write shit because like they didn't have to have like an end goal. They just wrote it because it was silly. Mm-hmm. And when the sketch stopped being funny, they were just like, okay, we could just cut to a cartoon now.
Yeah.
That's why they kind of had that vibe where it was just like no transitions. This is random, but it just worked.
Yeah, it was basically like a precursor to the average sketch comedy show.
It's like we basically wrote a sketch with no end. Here's a cartoon.
Yep. I love like Weird Al does that at his like live shows, which is hilarious. He'll cut
I've
to
never got to see him
cartoons in between his shiz, because obviously he has all these like costume changes, because that man is a fucking performer.
Changes more costumes than Britney Spears.
Dude, for real. And you know, like the full, like when he goes into his fat suit for like in the full makeup and that, yeah, for the I'm fat.
Boom, 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 boom. I bet Weird Al would let us use all his music.
He might, dude. He's such a good guy. Already.
Oh, you guys have a no name podcast? Sure, you can use all my music.
I love that song. That's your horoscope for today.
Oh my god. Your friends are all laughing behind your back. Kill them. I like didn't understand what he was saying for like the first 5 years I heard that, and eventually I'm just like, oh wow, that's dark.
Oh, jeez. All right, let's take a break.
Give me a break. Give me a break.
Give me a break and then eat that ass.
America. Maybe I will just pull these off for 1 second.